You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great Paranormal Debate with hosts Kerry and Paul on Parasearch UK Radio.
Good evening. Welcome to the Great Paranormal Debate. I'm Kerry Greenaway and I'm being joined by the lovely Lynch tonight because poor Kerry Ann is feeling really poorly, so she's not going to be able to join you tonight. And Paul Rook has been on holiday. How dare he go on holiday? So you've got me and Jay tonight. Hello, Jay.
Howdy. How are you, lady?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you. So
are you sure?
Yes, I am. I'm really well. So I've taken on this gargantuan task that Kerry and Paul have set up for us to see if we can ruin it for them.
Well, they don't understand that you and I have been together for about, I don't know what, this will be our 4th or 5th hour broadcasting together this week.
I think it is. Yeah, I think we've done quite a lot.
We're becoming professionals together.
I know. Proper little couple, aren't we?
Absolutely. Shh, don't nobody tell anybody. It's our secret.
Yeah, just a little secret. So, normally they get loads of clips and articles, and we have got some, haven't we? We have gone out and found some.
Yes, we have. Actually, let's be quite honest about it. Kerry found, let me see, if I look on here, yeah, the first two you sent me and Kerry both, and if I look on today's, oh, no, we haven't found anything. You found several things to talk about. I didn't send you anything.
Oh, slacking.
Yes, I am. And that's why you're the host and I'm just the co-host.
So if this goes horribly wrong, then this is all down to me. So I do apologise.
No. It means that if this goes horribly wrong, she has done her part, Mr. Clements, and I'm the one that dropped the ball. So I would know why she has a title at the station and I'm just a fill-in.
Well, I say I might get slapped by Kerry Ann and say, "What on earth was you finding? That's not what we normally do." But we shall see. We'll go with it.
In our defense, if they wanted to do what they would normally do, then they should have been here. They're not, so...
No, but you can't... I mean, holidays and being ill, Jay, come on. You're being horrible.
I know, but I'm an old firm believer in that a normal is an illusion. What's normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. It depends on what side of the fence that you're looking at, whether it's normal or not.
Mate, I don't know where I'm at with that. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. Let's have our first article. I will share the link. Now, it's an article, not a video as such, because this actually popped up in my newsfeed this week, and I'd not seen it before. And I know a little bit about the Bell Witch, but because it popped up on my newsfeed, I thought, and I was in a panic trying to find stuff. I thought, well, let's have a look at the Bell Witch, because it's a well-known American haunting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's, also, it was known as a family curse.
Yeah, the Bell family, isn't it?
Yeah, there's
you can see I'm really, really remembering this story well, can't you?
Well, there's a gentleman that I'm a good friends with named Nick White. I think we've already interviewed him on our Paramania show for the Parasearch UK radio show on Paramania, and he's coming on again. But he was actually in the Curse of the Bell Witch, and it's basically a family line where I can't remember the exact details of the curse. I wish Teresa was here because she could tell you everything about it because she studied the heck out of it and loves it. But basically, it falls along the family line of a family in Tennessee that there was a feud between the two families over land, and a curse was put down. and he was on the episodes, and it's kind of interesting, but now they're saying that a psychic is going to figure it all out.
Well, yes. Apparently so. Now I'm going to read the article because that's how they do this, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so a Mississippi clairvoyant featured on A&E's up-and-coming series called Cursed the Bell Witch is claiming to know the real story behind the nearly 200-year-old tale. And she says she got it directly from Betsy Bell, who, according to the legend, was tortured for years by an unseen force on her family's farm. And she says, some people will not agree with me, and that's okay, but I gave Betsy Bell a voice to say what really happened. Now, she's known as Angel Lee, and she's a clairvoyant from Leakesville, Mississippi. And she said, as a Christian, when I was told that this could be something evil, it scared me. I had to really pray about it. But once I talked to Betsy, I wanted to help as much as I could. For so many years, she was buried and couldn't tell the truth. Now, basically, it goes on about her history of being a clairvoyant. And then she says that, let me find the bit where she's talking about the bells. Bear with. Basically, they said that the bells reportedly talked to a spirit they later named Kate. And the spirit would target Betsy Bell, pinching her, pulling and tying her hair in knots and slapping her until she was bruised. Now, the abuse continued until the year after Betsy Bell's father, John, died in 1820 at about the age 70. And the spirit took credit for his death, stating she poisoned him. But the psychic says the spirit that tortured Betsy Bell and the rest of her family wasn't responsible for John Bell's death. Now, she says that a slave killed John Bell because he could not protect his 11-year-old daughter Betsy from another family member who was sexually abusing her at the time. So she says that was what was the problem, not an cursed witch person thing. Sorry,
Yeah,
excuse my children in the background.
No, that's fine. It's been thank God mine just left. but yeah, it's such a thing that they've been the story that was on over here before about the curse, the Bell Witch, was about the other side of the family that was supposedly had the other side of the curse, and where the witch was attacking the family, and so many the first male out of every household along the family would have something happen to him, and it was absolutely drawn out and made to look like there was some kind of, I don't know, family curse or what, firstborn curse. I don't know much about the cursing thing besides how to say them, and not that kind of curse either. I'm talking about curse words, but anyway.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing about being cursed. I buy into that about as much as I do a lot of the other things, voodoo and things like that. I think if you, and like we was discussing with Andy Mercer, if you believe in it, you buy it, then that's what it is.
Mm.
If you believe in the rituals, then it's going to help you or going to cause you problems. Then it's going to cause you problems because it's all mind over matter.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, when I read this story, regardless of how that information has come to light, I actually thought that's a good explanation for what could have occurred in that place. Now, there is also a link between poltergeist kind of activity and, young girls, isn't there? You think of the Enfield haunting.
Absolutely.
So whether or not she was the bruising and obviously would have been caused probably through the abuse, if that happened, but the knockings and the rappings could easily have been caused because she was manifesting that herself because of her trauma.
Well, without a doubt, because that's been well documented about poltergeists and activity like that, especially like you said with young girls, and where traumatic things are going on. So I don't know. It makes the story very interesting, and I would like to believe in it being another side to the story to bring some kind of a closure to it or more understanding. But once again, with the whole field, how do you prove this?
You can't, can you? Again, it's because it's so far back in history now. You can't prove it, but it definitely gives it a more credible angle than
absolutely
a curse. In my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Like I said, I would love to see it be a way to bring some type of conclusion to it and to move on or to, get some people with some kind of understanding, but it's so hard to bring credibility to some of this where people's with, and I'm not doubting psychic mediums. Trust me, I know several of them. I feel I don't have that ability, and I feel sorry for them sometimes when they're trying to explain things to people and how people are so dismissive. Is that a good word for it?
No, I agree. I mean, I've had readings done and stuff like that, and I do find it very frustrating that there is a lot of fraud out there. But I've also had incredibly accurate readings from somebody who didn't know me at all, and I think I'm quite hard to read in that situation. Do you know what I mean? Because I go in quite closed, because obviously I don't want to give anything away and all the rest of it. But it does. I agree, it does frustrate you when you know there's a good medium and they're dismissed quite easily because of general scepticism. It's difficult.
But they could also go back and with paranormal investigating and stuff and have her along possibly, or whether she's not along or not, and go back and try to validate some of the evidence through investigating.
Yeah. I mean, is the farm still there, do you know?
Yeah, the land is all still there. I think the one farmhouse is still there from what I showed in the other episodes of Cursed Bell Witch. That there are some of the old original housing and foundations are still there, so they can go back to the exact spots. That's what I'm saying. They go back, and now they've got a direction to go with it.
Yeah.
So they can, if they could collaborate what they first found, and from one side of the family about what happened there, now they're going to come out from the other side from the woman that was accused of being the witch and everything. Now they could actually get some kind of find the middle ground and find some answers. You're getting two sides of the story finally. Yeah.
Is it still haunted to this day?
Oh yeah, it's quite active from what I understand.
So it would be really interesting to actually do that, wouldn't it? To see if they could get some form of collaboration from the investigation side.
Oh, I think it'd be phenomenal, because you got the other story that they've already aired from the side of the family that was being cursed to the side now of being accused of casting the curse, and then you can use the investigation in the middle to use that to get some kind of possible collaboration to both sides or one side of the story or whatever, and then you can tie it all in together.
Mm. Yeah, but I have to say, regardless of where that information came from, I thought it was a possible good explanation as to what happened there, rather than like we said, cursed and witches and that side of things. I thought, yeah, that actually makes more sense to me. If that situation was going on in that household at that time, then I could understand a little bit more why there was a manifestation of energy. I suppose you would explain it that way,
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
absolutely.
I'd like to go there one day. I'm going to have to put that on my list again. Honestly, my list for America is growing bigger and bigger every time I talk to you. It's crazy. Right, moving on, because we have to move on in through articles. Now, the next one is, it's about shadow people. I've never seen a shadow person, have you?
I've said that I've seen one, but in my mind, now that I've gotten a little bit more into the field and stuff, but then again, I raise self-doubt in myself all the time. I would have to say yes from my experiences so far, but do I question it? Absolutely.
Yeah, because I've never seen one. I've seen shadows, but I wouldn't say they were a shadow person, that I couldn't logically in my head think that came from that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, this from my recollection. Now, mind you, I was alone, so I have nobody to collaborate in this. So it looked like the shape of a person, but it was dark shadow. There was you couldn't tell facial features or anything like that. You knew it was the form of a person. Right. And I followed it through a building. And no, it didn't go through a wall or any of that stuff. When it got to the wall, it actually dissipated out in all directions, just like a mist would hit the wall and just kind of dissipate.
See, they're a bizarre phenomena, aren't they, shadow people? Because if you're it's not like it's a manifestation of a spirit where you can see the clothing and you can see, right. facial features, and you can see like an actual manifestation of a person. It is just a shadow. It's like a shadow. But if you're in a dark building, which we generally are when we're investigating, aren't we?
Oh yeah. But that's the problem with this. I wasn't in a dark building. It was dark in that area, but it was in the early evening, and the sun hadn't completely set yet and stuff. So there was still sunlight coming in from outside when I had my experience. And like I said, my mind is dismissive of it and questioning of it. But to retell it exactly the way that I saw it, they stepped around a corner. I saw them. I thought somebody was in the building. It was just a shadow person down the hallway. So I was at the other end of a longer hallway. And I went after them, and they went back around the corner, and I saw them. The time I got down to that corner and down the steps around another corner in the building, they were at the other end of another 150-foot hallway, and faster than I could even. There's no way they should have been down that far that quick. And then when they got to the wall, they did not go through the wall like you would think a ghost would. It was like a smoke hit the wall and just kind of rolled out to each side, up, down, just gone. And I was like, oh crap, I'm alone.
That's not my shadow.
But then of course, in me, with me being me, I questioned it. Did this really just happen, or is my excitement and my expectations of wanting to experience something creating this in my own mind? Was this something that I generated? Granted, I wasn't thinking of a shadow person or anything like that at the time when I saw it, and that was the farthest from my mind. All I was thinking is I heard the noise, and I look down that way, and then I see a shadow figure. So if I was thinking about, I'd love to see a shadow person, then I saw it, then that would be one thing. But I wasn't thinking along that lines, but I was paranormal investigating. I was investigating to experience something. So since I was looking to experience something, did my mind create this? And there's more of my own desire to have an experience override the facts of what actually happened. Or did I really just encounter something?
It's a difficult one to call because, as I say, I've never seen a shadow person, so I honestly I can't comment because I've not seen that. But I did learn that your eye can cause mists, coloured mists and all sorts just because of the way the eye works in dark rooms and stuff like that. So could it be that? But then again, it moved so fast. So I don't know. I say shadow people. I honestly don't know, and I can't understand if it's a manifestation of a spirit. Why isn't it a manifestation of a spirit? Why is it a shadow? I need to think about this and research this a little bit more. I feel because I don't get it. I don't get the shadow people spirit manifestation differences.
Well, I'm on the wrong side of the pond, so the majority of people say that when they see a shadow figure, that's a demon.
Well,
it's that bad D word.
It's the D word.
I didn't sense that. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel threatened, afraid. Curiosity. Hell, if I was scared, why did I go after it instead of run away from it? You know what I mean? I went towards it. And being with the eye, I studied into that a little bit. Checked that, not a whole lot, but I did check into that, and I thought, okay, it could have been that. But then why, when I went around a couple corners, and I saw it again, it's not like it was something there, then I looked away. I physically went 30 feet up the hallway to where I saw it, and it was around a corner and down another 150-foot hallway before I could, all the way down the other end of it. By the time I traveled 30 feet, it already covered 150 more feet.
See, so that's quick, isn't it? And a normal shadow wouldn't react like that at all.
No. So that's why my mind is like, well, did I really see all these things, or is it my mind manifesting this because I'm here paranormal investigating and I want to have that big oh crap moment, or I'm wanting to have an experience of some sort, and did I create this? Have anticipation of wanting to have an experience. So I'm still so much on the fence with that. That's why when you ask me, have you ever seen a shadow figure? I'm like, yes and no. Yes, I saw one, but do I think that that's what it was? I'm not sure. I'm not saying that it is, but I can't just dismiss it as it wasn't either, because it was an experience that I encountered.
Yeah.
Was it what I think it was? Well, I don't know. I can't prove that, and I have nobody to validate it. Nobody was there with me at the time. They was all on the other end of the building. Actually, it was on the first floor, and I was on the second floor. So they were clear at the other end of the building from me.
See, I know when I spoke to Rick Rose, he said he saw one in Malvern Manor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've known lots of people that say they've seen him. I'm just dismissive and trying to be more understanding of my experience.
Yeah.
I can't take away that it didn't happen. and I can tell you what I think I experienced. Tell you, but I can't tell you that's what for sure it is, because I don't fully have an understanding or acceptance of it myself.
No, it's a tricky one. I mean, Richard says, I would say a shadow person is a straightforward ghost manifestation. But I always kind of see a ghost manifestation as almost like a traditional glowing white kind of manifestation.
But see, that's your perception of what it would be.
True.
What if it was a manifestation of a ghost or a spirit? But what if it was somebody from my past or something like that manifested? But they thought that if I saw them completely, it would freak me out and scare me. Where this way, since it was a shadow figure, I was more inquisitive. What if it's not them wanting to try to make that contact and do it in a less subtle way? Because if I got details, maybe the details would freak me out.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yeah. But it's interesting that these manifestations, whether or not they're, if you look at spirit manifestations and, like you say, your perception would be it would appear glowing white or, and be a lot more defined as a entity, which is sort of kind of what I'm expecting. You can clearly see I haven't actually had a full spirit manifestation yet. I would like to experience that. Or not. Once I've had it, I might be saying I don't ever want to experience that again. But I've not had that yet. I mean, obviously I've had experiences, but not an actual spirit manifestation in front of me that I've seen with my own eyes. But I wonder if it is down to what your perception is that you will see what you expect to see, or it is a manifestation just because it isn't what you expected, you kind of dismiss it.
Absolutely.
Now, we have this little subject has sort of kicked off in the chat room a little bit. Richard again has said, ghostly shadows have been reported for hundreds of years. I think it's just the modern craze of trying to categorise certain manifestations. To me, they are all one of the same. And Andy has said, I'd agree with Richard. Why should it be something different? Historically, there has not been this level of division into different kind of entities. And that's true as well, isn't it? Because now there's so many different names for different kinds of encounters that you can have. And that is quite a modern thing. I'm going to be talking, me and Mark are going to be doing definitions of ghostly hauntings in a couple of weeks. We're going to tackle that subject and look at all the different names that you can call things. Because we noticed that when we were talking, when we were just talking, and then there's stone tape theory, and then there's like replay, and then there's, lots of different explanations for experiences now, which there wasn't.
No, there wasn't, and that's it. We get to thinking too on a historical thing. If on the lines of the white ones like you're talking about, who's to say that those aren't the ones where people thought they saw an angel, and the darker ones like the shadow figure I saw aren't the devil or the demons or the grim reapers? That just a misinterpretation of it.
Well, it's not the Grim Reaper, because it wouldn't have. It would have had a scythe, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because that's what all the pictures say. But you know what I mean? Who's to say because it was a darker shadow that was misinterpreted as something being dark, and because it being of light, like you said, it was interpreted to be something of being light. It could be something that simple.
Yeah, you probably hit the nail on the head right there.
A misinterpretation of a simple manifestation.
Yeah.
Put into a religious context or a context of being afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. We've sorted that one out. Right, next.
See, you're making me think all the way over here on this side of the pond. You know better than that.
I know. I do like to get you thinking. And then you always astound me. This is the thing, Joe. You always come out with something and I go, that's a good idea. That's a good way of looking at it.
It's like we were talking about before the show came along. Is I think of things in a more simplistic manner. You can understand all the higher tech side of it and stuff, but sometimes we overthink things. We overanalyze things. That's what we do as people. So why not try to just, for lack of better terms, dumb it down a little bit and think of it more simplistic?
I actually think you're right on that. I think there's so many fancy pantsy words that can get used for things, and if you actually simplify it, it probably makes the more sense than if you try and dress it up and link it to other things. And You know, I mean, there's been an occasion recently where I read something and I thought, you're just complicating it. You really are mixing your theories, basically. And it got me a bit riled up, to be fair. Got me a little bit riled because I was like, no, you're complicating it too much. It's not that complicated.
No, it's not sometimes.
I'm not going to talk about it on air because I haven't discussed it with the person yet. So.
Oh, wait a minute. And you said,
it wouldn't be fair. Oh dear. But you know, we do like, as human beings, like to box things, don't we, as well? We like to put them in specific little boxes. So like if it, you know, poltergeist activity has got to, you know, conform to this, and so we put it into that box, and then this is, you know, this is a replay from a historic event, so that gets put into this box, and, you know, and sometimes it's just simply an experience that happened.
It's usually simple, and we overthink it.
And
I
we
do all the
overthink
time.
it.
I do all the time. That's why I say that. I always got to stop and recheck myself and go, wait a minute, calm down, slow down, because I don't know, I get excited and my ADHD kicks in, whatever you want to blame it on. But and then that's what I'm talking about with the shadow figure that I saw. I know what I saw at the time and what I felt and what I thought. But that was 4 years ago. Now that I've had time to reflect back on it, what if? Now I'm dissecting it, breaking it down. I'm not trying to dismiss my experience, because that's kind of being the exact opposite. You know what I mean? You can't go in open-minded and expect to have an experience and have it, and then totally want to dismiss it, because then I would never want to believe in paranormal again, because with that mentality, you can always dismiss things. If you don't want to accept it or believe it, you won't, whether it be paranormal, the Bible, whatever. If you don't want acceptance of it, believe it, your mind won't allow you to, and you'll dismiss it and you'll move on. I don't want to be that extreme either.
No, I mean, I had an experience a few years ago, and because obviously I now know a lot more about the paranormal from when I first started in the field, I now view it in two different ways. And one is from the experience I had at that particular time, and then one is hindsight, looking at it, and I still can't marry the two. I can't say that experience didn't happen the way it happened for me, but I can't then dismiss the knowledge I now have and look at it and go, hang on, it doesn't change what happened. I still know what I experienced on that, but I can also see how it possibly could have been something different, but I can't definitely do that. Do you know what I mean? Because I experienced that. Absolutely.
We're basically saying the same thing, kind of.
We are. Yeah, I'm just repeating it in different words. That's all, aren't I? Copy and paste. Which I've been accused of.
No, don't go there.
No,
I'll
I won't go there.
Something.
Right, okay. We're going to take a little break, a really quick one, and then we're going to come back with some more stories, I think, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do the break.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
And we're back in the room. See, it was a quick little one for you guys. Right, now next up. Now, the next article we're going to discuss is something that from a gentleman that I know through the wonderful land of social media. And it's a guy called Dan Litchfield. Now, with his team, they captured a photograph of an eerie figure. Now, let me share the link for you, guys. Now, this one I found quite interesting because they're very experienced, this team. They're very experienced. They know what they're on with. However, this is a hotspot in Mansfield, known as the Village. And legend has it that a group of monks were burnt alive in the tunnels underneath. Okay, and so they went to the village. They went to investigate this village. But the camera caught an eerie figure. Now, the group were even more stunned when another photo in a different part of the former pub and slaughterhouse showed another suspected gal. I love how papers write these things, Jay. I do. Gal. They have to fizz it up, don't they? I thought of another word there and then thought I better not say that word. Now, legend has it that the tunnels led from the nearby Newstead Abbey to the site, and the monks who had sought refuge were slaughtered during the dissolution of the monasteries. Now, this does come with like a video with it, and they've circled it just so you make sure you don't miss it, which I love.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
That's a favourite of Kerry Ann's as well, when they have to circle it. But it is interesting. But when they've got the frozen shot and they've got the circles around it, which you wouldn't need, to be fair, well, it's a bit weird looking.
Yeah, it's not the shape of a...
Unless he's got his arms out.
Unless it's, well, that or... I can't really see the shape of a human figure out of it. Could you use your imagination to and pick something? Yeah, because then you would say, okay, there's shoulders, and then the face he's facing to the left, and the streaks come out the back of their head. Is that maybe where the flames are coming off their head, where they would burn alive? Or there's so many things that you could imagine out of this shape. It's a neat picture of a shadow. What's causing the shadow? It's clearly behind everything because you can see the stuff in front of it. So what's creating the shadow clear back here on the back wall? There's nothing in front of it to be casting that shadow. Nothing that seems like the light could be reflecting off of, from what I can tell from the picture. Not even from the IR lights. But it would have to be on back, because if it was in front of those things, it would be reflecting off. It would block out the things in front, or would show some color distortion to the front objects in front of it. But it's not. So it's clearly behind everything.
I know, it is a strange one. So the video is a little bit more compelling than when they freeze-framed the picture, in all honesty. But as I say, I know they're a very experienced team, so they're not going to put something out there that they're really not sure. Now, he says, catching a full apparition on camera is like the holy grail in paranormal investigations, and that sort of thing doesn't happen very often. You normally see some things that can be attributed to pareidolia, when you see a shape or a figure when nothing is there, but the shadow figure was unbelievably clear. It was our first time there. It is known as a major hotspot in the field and well known as one of the best places to visit, so we wanted to go. And it had been on his bucket list, which, a lot of times these things you do, don't hold that against him. I never thought we would get something as good as this. I hoped to, but never thought I would. Now, we also had a photo that was taken by another person in the building that night, and he actually found a similar shadowy figure within a different part of the area. The fact that the figure was caught twice in two different spots 10 feet apart obviously reinforces the sighting. It's a very difficult one, this one, because, as I say, it's not like I don't know this person and I know how experienced he is. So the second photograph, that he's talking about, is more understandable as a human figure.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
Oh, absolutely. But that's the second one's such a human figure that it almost looks like a silhouette. It's so thick, so heavy.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's got a lot of solidity to it. For being a shadow, it
is very dense.
Yeah, and notice that the one behind the partition wall behind it is a little bit blocked off, like I was talking about in the other ones. Whatever, you could tell the depth of where it was at, but it's just perfectly framed inside that little window area.
True.
So that kind of, for that thickness of it. I mean, I'm saying thickness as for that dark and heavy of a shadow. You can't see through it, but yet it's perfectly framed with inside, like almost like somebody or something is standing behind that wall. Mm-hmm. That's what. Not saying that it is, but it would give me that impression if you don't know the whole details of what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say see, because I know this team, it makes it a little bit different for me. That's why it's a bit difficult, because I'm not discrediting them whatsoever. No, I'm just saying
that it kind of if it's a shadow, you can see through shadows, and neither one of these shadows can you actually see through.
No.
So, okay, is it because they're filming at night? Possibly, could be. I don't know all the circumstances, and I don't know the team, and I'm not trying to take away from what their possible evidence is. It's just I know how people pick things apart. I'm trying to be absolutely respectful because I don't know them, and I do want to accept it and trust people to be sincere and honest with their evidence that they present. I mean, granted, we've seen enough people that's not, but that doesn't mean that everybody needs to be treated that way.
No,
is what I'm trying to, and it's amazing for what it is. I don't understand the whole things of the camera, the digital photography, the digital cinematography. A lot of this can be explained sometimes with the camera companies and stuff, and then they can be and have been. You can go to a lot of the camera, as we said before, you can go to a lot of the cameras, internet pages and stuff, and they'll actually show you things that they can dispel and tell you what they are and what caused it. I can't. To me, it's amazing, but I have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah. Well, it is a Daily Mail article.
Is that kind of some of our the Inquirer and stuff over here?
A little bit. I don't want to a little bit. I don't know, but as I say, I do know the team, and then they're not unexperienced in pareidolia. They're not unexperienced in, if they didn't really believe that they caught something, they certainly wouldn't have gone to a national newspaper, I believe. I mean, there has been activity caught on camera before at this location. I haven't seen that. I'm literally going on this article alone. So I don't know. It's interesting. As I say, it's always interesting when somebody puts something out there and then you're looking at it, and because you weren't there at the time, it's very difficult. But I'd say the video footage is actually a little bit more compelling than the stills, what they've taken of the stills, particularly of the first encounter with the shadow figure person, because the stills, I don't know. I mean, ugh.
Stills are so hard anyway. A lot of people, for me, I think you're better off with video. A lot of people say the exact opposite, that you're better off with stills. And well, you can take a still of a video, you can slow it down and freeze frame it. I mean, then you have your still.
Yeah.
But then you can also look at it frame by frame, which gives you a better breakdown of it. When you have a still, you're only looking at that one shot, where if you have a video, you can break it down frame by frame. Gives you a lot more.
Well, the other thing is, and I found this, again, talking about going back to the Enfield haunting, is that when you look at the individual stills, it looks like she's being thrown across the room. But when you see the sequence of still videos, she's clearly jumping.
Yeah.
So still videos, it is so difficult sometimes to judge it, because it is just that split second that photograph was taken. Whereas if you've got a video, you've got that longer time period to see the activity. Like as I say, I was shocked when I first saw those Enfield hauntings with the girl on the bed jumping, but it's always been taken as one single photograph, and it looks like she's being thrown. And then I saw the sequence. I was like, no, she's so jumping, and that surprised me. That was actually a bit of an eye-opener to me, and that's why I sort of find still photo, just like a single picture, sometimes very difficult. And like you say, when videos do help clarify it.
Yeah, and like I said, with the videos, you can also break it down more. You get a before and after, and not just that one set picture, which gives you more chance to look at a lot and more in depth into it.
Yeah. And harder to fake, is it? Do you think?
No, because Hollywood fakes it all the time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the bad thing with all the and then you take into all the digital things that they can do nowadays. But you got to look at clear back, and I can't remember the photographer now that took all the pictures of the little fairies inside the skulls and all that stuff. And come to find out, and they were old black and white ones, and come to find out that they had all been double exposures and all this other stuff. That even back then they were faking things with photography, with paranormal stuff. So it's been fake for so long. That's the bad part about it, and the bad part about this field. It's not so much the people that are in there now trying to make a name for themselves or get a TV show and all that stuff. That isn't it at all, in my opinion. It's more about how we have such an uphill battle trying to get people to understand and believe what the experience is, because so people are desensitized to this due to Hollywood and fakes and frauds within the field.
Yeah.
That's worse than anything else. That's way more detrimental to me than anything else.
Yeah.
You could catch the absolute most perfect video and everybody around you know that it was a spirit that manifested in front of you. But they've seen it so many times happen from Hollywood and stuff that they're going to get you and go, oh, that's fake. The majority of people's not going to believe you.
It's
no matter how
dismissal.
credible you are.
Yeah, it's instant dismissal, isn't it?
No matter how credible you are. John Steffes himself, Ed and Lorraine Warren themselves could capture one on video, and people's going to say, well, you're just doing it so you can get another movie deal.
Yeah.
They're just going to dismiss it so badly. And with the TV shows, a lot of them have been captured with faking evidence. So that's why everybody makes fun of all the TV shows. Some of them are actually legit. That's more of a detriment to this field as the fakery and stuff like that, and the Hollywoodization of things than what it is anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So that's that one done. Let's move on.
So far off the topic.
I think we've been talking to Andy for too long.
let the crazy man ramble again. Here we go.
Well, we need to move on. We're running out of time. I'm going to run into my show in a minute.
Well, Paul and Kerry Ann's going to be next week. Going we don't care. Next time one of us is out, you do not bring that Lynch guy on there ever again.
We don't allow Kerry or Jay to take control of our show ever again.
No more Jay. He's done. He's fired.
Right, now the next article we're going to share is, again, it's an article which we saw. Again, social media, gotta love social media. We saw this. Now, I'd heard of this book and I'd been looking, I couldn't remember the name of it, strangely enough, and I've been talking about this when I was looking with Mark, because we were looking at the Voynich manuscript. I can never say that word properly. And we started talking about various weird manuscripts. I said, oh, there's a book. There's a book out there, and I know it's weird and it's wonderful, and I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, then synchronicity. You've got to love a bit of synchronicity. This pops up in my newsfeed, and Mark shared it to me. And this is about the Devil's Bible, which caught your imagination. I can't believe you hadn't heard of it.
No, I hadn't. And I love the name of it, too.
Wow. I mean, with a name
Giant
like that.
Book.
Devil's
Translation, Giant Book. The actual name of it.
Yeah, I know. They didn't want the Devil's Bible. You know? I mean, good old Lucifer couldn't miss out on having his own book, could he?
Well, you know, you got the Satanic Bible written over here and all that. Or no, it wasn't written over here. It was written over there. Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Oh, bless him.
I'm getting myself all confused. So I'll just shut up.
No. Anyway, this book is incredible. Absolutely incredible piece of work, regardless of what it is. It is beautiful, in my opinion, because I like weird stuff like this. Now, it has a very dark story. It was allegedly written by a doomed Benedictine monk in a dark Bohemian monastery. And according to legend, the monk had been sentenced to death by being walled up alive for the crime of breaking his vows. I'm so curious as to know which vows he broke. Terrified and desperate to avoid the horrible penalty, he came up with an extraordinary idea that would save his life. And the monk proposed to write a book that would not only glorify the monastery, but contain all of human knowledge. And he would do it in a single night. Now, the order agreed to the deal, because you can imagine him sitting like, yeah, if that's what he thinks he can do, fill his boots. We're still going to kill him. Do you know what I mean? We get a great book out of it. Or he's going to fail miserably. Anyway, that evening, as midnight drew closer, the monk realised he would not be able to complete the book on his own. Duh. Anyway, he got on his hands and knees, bowed down in prayer, but instead of addressing to God, he cast his eyes downward towards the fallen angel Lucifer, offering his soul in exchange for a finished book. And this is what happened next. According to the National Library of Sweden, the Dark Prince heard the monk's prayers and gladly accepted his offer. And with a snap of his clawed fingers, the massive text was done. Now, the monk even drew a picture of Lucifer.
And it's such a pretty portrait.
When I first saw that, it reminded me a little bit of Medusa.
Kind of reminded me of oh no, I'm just kidding. Notice I didn't say the rest of that before I cut myself off?
I did. I love the way you're starting to filter.
Well, somebody might go back and listen to it in archives and use that as evidence against me for future cases, and I don't want to get in trouble.
It's true that.
Self-preservation.
But it is an encyclopedia of medieval know-how, obtaining material for teaching medicine and magic. And there are 2 spells with specific instructions on how to identify and catch a thief, and a how-to for exorcising demons or evils from people and objects. Now, curiously, I would wonder why the devil would want that. If it's the Bible of the devil, why would he want that? He wouldn't, would he? Because that sort of goes against his purpose, surely.
Yeah, I want to give you the spell and the way to trap me. Right.
Or to trap his minions.
Yeah, that's just so intelligent there to make the move to give your enemy everything they want to use against you. Huh?
And write it in his own book. It's a bit like God doing the same, saying, right, well, here's a spell to get rid of me.
Or
my angels. I mean, no. Really. Anyway, whatever. It's an incredibly fascinating book, Bible, whatever way you want to class it as, or codex, or, whatever. It's incredibly fascinating, and we thought we'd mention it because, as I say, synchronicity and all that.
Well, it's just so amazing, and I haven't done a whole lot more research into it, but I did start researching last night. I mean, as we were discussing earlier, I got to the point to where they were actually breaking down the ink and seeing whether it was insect based or metallic based, and that would tell whether it was written at one time or from one monastery or not, and whether it was written from one person or not written by one person. But it got too in depth, and I got too late into the evening, and I fell asleep on it. Sorry, but I'm honest.
No, that's
I'm honest
true.
about it.
But it was written with bug ink. You said you got that far.
Yes, they said
and it was all written
of,
by the same hand.
Well, it appears to all be written by the same hand, but with all being the same ink, that gives it the indication that gives more credence to the evidence that it possibly could have been written by the same hand. But on the same token, with as big as the book is, it would take someone back there by hand writing all this back in that time, the style of writing, decades to write that much.
Yeah.
And much illustration. And there's physically no way with eye failing and all that stuff, life expectancy and anything, that one person could have possibly wrote it. But from the way the text looks and the consistency of handwriting so far that I've seen and what they've done research on it appears to have been written by one person, which is amazing.
Well, I kind of go with the theory that they had a mad monk that they used to keep locked up in one of the solitary rooms, and he wrote this, and they sort of they thought he was writing just religious stuff. And then when he died, they were like, oh my God, have you actually seen what he's been writing all these years? And, we can't say that we just allowed him, didn't really check on him for all these years. So what we'll do is we'll make up a legend that he did this in one night, so we weren't aware of it. You can imagine the diocese sitting together and going, right, how can we explain that we allowed him to do this for years and years and years and no one really looked at what he was doing?
That's what you give when you lock people away like that. See? But yeah, it's amazing. It is, and all the superstitions even abound off of that. I mean, the black robe monks were the ones that first originally had it, and from what I understand, their missionary was pretty much broke, and they ended up selling it to a group of the white robe monks, and to keep their monastery going, and they ended up having all kinds of problems. And when they got rid of the book and sent it back to where it originally came from, Black Plague went through there and wiped out. I mean, it's just got so much more lore and history to it than just when was written and things, and that story there that's supposedly got all kinds of curses that's followed it, that's attributed to it, which is natural disease and sicknesses, but they, of course, at that time, and superstition and fear ruled more than what anything else did, and they attribute it to the having that book in their possession and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah. Whatever, it's a fantastic piece of work.
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal, and I can't believe it survived all these years.
Yeah.
Being thrown out of one of the libraries it was in caught fire, and they threw it out a second floor window, and it broke the wood binding on the back. But supposedly it landed on a person outside and injured him.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
165 pounds.
Well, it's going to be. It's a big book. It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's 165 pounds.
165 pounds. My goodness.
For a book.
I know. It's huge. Anyway, let's go on to our next one because we are rapidly running out of time now. This is going to be a bit of a quickie. This is, I love these stories. Virgin Mary statue cries tears of blood. Now, this is a phenomena that has been reported quite a lot around the world, hasn't it? Now, this particular one is in Spanish, because the video that accompanies it, I can't even speak now, is actually in Spanish. So, I've got no idea what they're saying. But hundreds of people have been... Oh, no, it's actually in Argentina. Helps if you read the article before you post it, doesn't it? To witness what some are calling a modern miracle. Now, the figure, which belongs to a family in the country's Salta province, attracted a great deal of attention after its owners revealed on a local radio station that it had been crying tears of blood. Do you think they might have been a bit skint?
Yeah. That's one that I'm going to have to see to believe. I am so sorry. And for as much as... And I'm not knocking religion by any way. Please don't anybody take this that way. But for as much as people want to be extreme religious on that side, they have just as many superstitions, fears, angels, and sightings as what people do on the other side of being paranormal investigators and stuff like that. It's just everybody wants. I've seen the picture of Christ or the Virgin Mary in my toast. Really? Seriously. That's the second coming of Christ decided he won't be in your slice of toast. Good deal.
I have to say though, on religion's, side on this one, priest Julio Real Mendez believes the statue should be properly investigated by the church. Has warned people not to jump to conclusions. After all, crying statues have been cropping up everywhere over the last few years. The first thing the church does is to scientifically analyse to see if there is a natural explanation. Only then the possibility of a supernatural phenomena is then considered. So that's good. At least they try and approach it from a scientific point of view rather than jump to the old faithy one.
Well, but then again, and I'm
he's
not
already
trying to bash
started in
religion.
the chat room. Sorry, Jay. Marcus, I told you I'm going to count how many times he says that tonight.
But I'm not trying to bash on religion, but just how scientific are they truly going to get? Because people in religion, no matter what religion it is, want to believe. And they want to believe in a sign of proof because, I don't know, apparently faith just isn't enough anymore. They have to have some form of sign. And so how scientifically are they really going to get? There are people that are the ones giving them tithe after tithe after tithe, tax-free, are the ones saying that it's something of a religious icon. So are they really going to go against the people that's forking over the cash? That was wrong of me to say. I know I'm going to get in trouble for that word, but I can't help it.
Like I say, if you can witness it with your own eyes, with the tears actually coming from the statue's eyes, and then, really test that statue to make sure it's not been tampered with in any way to fake it, then then look at it like that. But looking at the picture, it looks like it's just smeared on. It doesn't look like there's tears rolling down the statue's face. It just looks like someone's smeared blood on the statue's face.
Or at least something that might resemble blood, like some kind of crushed bug, or I don't know. There's
explanations.
What are they going to take into consideration? Temperature, humidity, and stuff. Is there some kind of element that it's made out of, or something that's made out of that could possibly be sweating or anything like that, creating it? And there's dye from the paint that could go. There's so many things that it could be, and if I can think of those things, I can't wait till a scientist gets a hold of it.
Oh, scientists would have an absolute heyday with that, wouldn't they? They'd probably break the poor statue apart. But it's not even that great a statue. Of all the statues I've seen of the Virgin Mary, that's not even that great. It's not even that great a statue. It looks like a Victorian doll.
They didn't get it from her good side. Bad lighting the day they created it.
Right, now we have got to do one last one, and this leads very nicely into the Dark Mirror Show, because allegedly in Wild Horse Lake in Oregon, there has been the clearest Bigfoot caught on camera.
Thank God, it's about time. I thought maybe he went missing. You haven't seen a good picture of Bigfoot in a long time.
Well, this is not that good. Just going to put it out there, everybody. I was expecting, so when I read this, I was so excited because I was thinking, great, I'm doing a show on this tonight. I've got definitive proof. Have a look at it, guys.
The best videos I've seen and pictures I've seen of Bigfoot so far have all been on Jack Link's commercial.
Well, there was a really great TV series that one starred in.
Over here we got the beef jerky that he's does a lot of commercials called Messing with Sasquatch. They're amazing. I'll share some to you.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because I don't know what you're talking about. I just know the TV series.
I'll tag you.
Bigfoot and the Hendersons, I think it was called.
Harry and the Hendersons was a wonderful movie.
Yeah. See?
Harry and the Hendersons.
He had a starring role in that.
Absolutely.
So they must be real.
So when I get on YouTube here in a little bit, you'll hear your when you guys are in the next show, you hear the sound that's on her computer going off with me tagging her things with Bigfoot and Sasquatch and commercials.
It's going to go ping, ping. I'm going to be hey, stop it. Doing another show. No.
I know, but I'm also listening and being annoying as shit, so it's my job.
I know. That is your job. And you do it so well. Bless you. Well, I thought it was worth it because, as I say, we're doing a show. The next show coming up is obviously the Dark Mirror Show with Mark Manny and myself. And we have a very special guest on tonight, Ronald Murphy, who knows all about Bigfoot. So I'm going to be able to just sit and listen and learn about Bigfoot and find out, hopefully, a little bit more than I know already, because I don't know an awful lot about it. Cryptids are not really my bag. I'm not going to lie. They come up now and again, but they're more Mark's. He loves a cryptid. And so he's absolutely bouncing up and down on his chair at the moment. He can't wait. So on that note, we're going to have to go because I've got to sort the next bit out.
Thank you for allowing me to join you guys. Sorry for filling in for Paul and Kerry, and I hope they're back next week and you guys can have a normal show.
Yes, I hope they're back to normal next week. Although I have to say, it's been so much fun.
I've had a blast. I
hope we didn't. I hope we didn't ruin their reputation too much tonight.
Well, I try not to, but it happens with me.
Yeah.
Thank you again for everything. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, guys, and they'll be back next week.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.